Good evening. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dan, and I'm here today to talk to you about something which has been sort of sticking in my mind as a sort of point I wanted to talk about on YouTube for quite a while now. First of all, have you ever wanted to have a questionable relationship with a fish? Have you ever wanted to basically question whether or not a relationship should or shouldn't be cool based on a good film? Well, today, ladies and gentlemen, as you've probably guessed, we're going to be talking about The Shape of Water, a film by the brilliant director Guillermo del Toro. Let's just get straight into this video, shall we? Today, as another point that I'm hoping that you've inferred from that, I'm going to be talking about why I think it was the right choice and why I think it was good that The Shape of Water won an Oscar. I also realize that this is an extremely late video because your boy just has a ton of coursework to do for uni and isn't good at getting around to making videos. Here is why The Shape of Water should have won an Oscar, and it did, so it's good. Yeah. First of all, the relationships. We have Eliza and Giles, who we are greeted in right at the beginning of the film. Eliza is mute. It means that she cannot speak because of an injury, I'm assuming, from a previous sort of thing that has happened in her life, but Eliza and Giles basically live next door to each other, or they share an apartment. Never really clear to me. If anyone knows, please do leave a comment below. Eliza and Giles are friends, and they're doing their thing, and Eliza works cleaning at this sort of ocean research laboratory, for those of you who have not seen the film. She has a friend. The friend was called Zelda, she was cool. And together they both sort of discover this amphibian man that has been brought to the facility to be studied. Now, Eliza loves boiled eggs. Boiled eggs seem to be the thing that she is obsessed with. Don't really know why it's boiled eggs, but you know, I'm sure knowing Guillermo del Toro, it's got a really significant point that it's meant to bring across. Basically, Eliza likes eggs and she starts giving eggs to the amphibian man. That is when we see the relationship blossom. Now, in the film, it's quite important to highlight that when you talk out loud, it sounds really quite weird. Simply because Amphibian Man sounds like a superhero, but if you've seen any of the sort of publicity work for the film, he's quite obviously a man who is also sort of blended with a fish. The fish part of things, this weirdness is the core point as to why this film is just brilliant. They take the relationship that Eliza has with this amphibian man, which at first glance looks weird, and it's completely natural. From like the first moment that you sort of see it, they're both human, and the humanity of their relationship as it blossoms is what sort of comes to be the whole point of the film, because the amphibian man is not an animal, he's not a fish, he's human, just like everyone else. She is human, and together it's sort of a whole story of what is on the inside is what counts, not what is on the outside, which is the main point of this whole thing. Now, going on to this, there is also a CIA dude in this film called Strickland. Now, Strickland does not like the amphibian man, mainly because I believe he bit something of his hand. There's like some fingers that go missing, and to be completely honest, Strickland has a zappy baton thing, and he zaps Amphibian Man quite a lot, and together they just don't get along, shall we say. Strickland also has a relationship in this movie with his wife. He has 2 kids. He has sort of like the nuclear family relationship that is seen as the sort of norm in a lot of Western society, for good or bad. The sort of whole thing that I found to be a fantastic reason as to why this film was brilliant is that Strickland's relationship, which is seemingly seen as more normal, is made to look really awkward and weird. Strickland is not a happy man throughout, and it's not because of the relationship he's in. Strickland is just a massive dickhead. His whole thing is that when he goes home, he's just sullen-faced and he's not happy, and that really gives off an impression that the Strickland himself is not happy, and this relationship that he's in and the whole situation he's in does not make him happy, and in a way that sort of makes his relationship more weird than this one that Eliza has with Amphibian Man, which is just brilliant because it highlights the whole thing of people are people, humanity is humanity, and it's just some hippie shit that's just really cool. The second thing, the set, bruh. Set in this movie, man, is fucking amazing. There is so when you go into the sort of aquatic research center laboratory space, there is a room where Amphibian Man is made to sort of go ahead and just do his thing. He swims around, he sort of goes in and does his thing. And you know what he does? He swims around in a pool with like this massive thing with all these tubes connected to it. It looks like a heart. There is like symbolism in every single piece of this set, man. The flat that Eliza and Giles live in right at the beginning of the film is always damp, even highlighting that she is a lot like Amphibian Man. She's sort of in similar environments. It's just all brilliant. Giles, who is her friend, is a graphic artist, and his house is just completely disorganized in the most brilliantly aesthetic fashion. It's so disorganized, and his life isn't sort of on the rails, but it's so disorganized because sort of Giles, as his character develops, you realize he doesn't really know what he wants. And the disorganization, is disorganization a word? Because I'm not sure if disorganization is a word. Let me get back to you on that. Giles just sort of has this whole thing that is his space, and it's so disorganized, just like he is, but he doesn't sort of have it on the outside as quite an internal thing. Giles himself is sort of organized on the top and disorganized on the bottom. The flat that him and Eliza live in is sort of geometric in the way that it's organized, but inside his space is disorganized. That is why, like, the set throughout the film, it's just f***ing beautiful, because it has all of this sort of symbolism and things that mean things inside of it that you sort of pick up on when you've watched the movie a second or third time, but it's just cool, man. The soundtrack, again, going on with the theme of this movie, taking something which would seem weird but making it human and brilliant. The soundtrack is this sort of, well, by soundtrack I should also clarify, is this sort of theme tune that the entire film sort of has throughout. It has this sort of jazzy sort of thing going on that just adds to the concept of this film being slightly odd but beautiful. It's sort of the music is slightly but off-putting. The theme song is slightly off-putting. It's sort of jazz number, stripped back piece of jazz. I don't even know if it's jazz, but it's just something really beautiful. Beautiful is a word I'm using a lot today. Sort of stripped back piece of music which just sounds slightly odd in the way that Bioshock, for those of you who played Bioshock, the sort of music that they used in that an awful lot sounded slightly odd when you listen to it, and slightly eerie and creepy. This does a similar thing, but it's slightly eerie while being at the same time quite warm with the way that it does that eeriness, much like a lot of the rest of the tone of the film sort of works. It fits so well together with the rest of the film in a way that I think it sort of sews up this beautiful package of a movie which The Shape of Water was. And that is why I think that The Shape of Water was valid in winning its Oscar. Thank you very much for watching.